Skinny jabs have been hailed as a game changer for tackling obesity, but with demand soaring, an underworld of unlicensed and dangerous products is rapidly spreading. ITV News has uncovered fake jabs smuggled into the UK from a lab in China and sold through social media to desperate customers.
This is more dangerous than the supply of illicit drugs like cocaine and heroin, because the majority of people using those drugs know what they're buying. With these drugs, they are marketed as legitimate.
Fake skinny jabs are also making their way onto high streets, with customers getting backroom injections in beauty salons, potentially leading to deadly consequences.
Our face was like purple here, then it'd go back to normal, then it'd go purple again, then it'd go back to normal. And I was like, Mum, there's something wrong, I need to ring an ambulance.
So how can you spot the fakes?
People just think that these are just a quicker, easier, more accessible way of getting hold of weight loss drugs. That couldn't be further from the truth.
And with government and regulators promising a crackdown, can black market suppliers really be stopped? I'm Daniel Hewitt, and this is what you need to know. Joining me is ITV News health correspondent Rebecca Barry, who's led this investigation. Rebecca, really important investigation we're working on now for quite a long time. Tell us, where are these fake skinny jabs actually coming from?
Well, it was about 5 months ago that we exposed a man called Dale Dennis, who was illegally promoting and selling fake so-called skinny jabs on social media. But despite our report, it seems that he wasn't put off. So we decided to investigate his global supply chain and try and work out how these potentially dangerous drugs were being smuggled into the UK. We know that Dale Dennis runs a number of businesses in Koh Samui in Thailand. He has loads of followers on social media, and he has these, what he calls ambassadors, who promote his brands on social media. He really flaunts the money that he makes. He posts videos of himself wearing Rolex and watches and driving flashy cars and jet skis. And so we sort of continued to monitor his activity online, and he posted a video about getting new drugs from China. So our team of journalists here meticulously tracked down and identified the laboratory that he visited in a city called Shenzhen in southeastern China, where they claim to produce weight loss medications, but these drugs are unlicensed. They're not legal for use here in the UK.
And how are these fake jabs getting to customers?
Well, they use social media, they use WhatsApp. I mean, even I repeatedly get text messages offering their deals and 2-for-1 discounts. And our investigation found that when you place an order online, the product is actually shipped from a town in Yorkshire called Goole. It's a town with a port. It imports lots of cargo and goods. And actually this summer, health authorities and police in that area issued an urgent health warning related to skinny jabs. Several women fell very ill. One woman even ended up in intensive care, and we understand that she actually had a ruptured esophagus because she'd been vomiting so violently. And several sources claimed to us that this supply network was the source of those drugs.
So these drugs are really dangerous. Clearly very dangerous. How dangerous can they be?
Well, what I find really worrying is that these people actually started to advertise counterfeit Mounjaro. Now, you will have heard of Mounjaro. It's been dubbed the King Kong of weight loss injections. It is a regulated medication for treating obesity. So our undercover journalists purchased one of these fake Mounjaro pens, and we got it tested in a laboratory, and scientists found that it actually contained a totally different weight loss drug. Instead of tirzepatide, which is the drug in Mounjaro, it was semaglutide. And really worryingly, it actually had a dosage that was more than 20 times the recommended amount. Wow. So we took our findings to the manufacturer of Mounjaro, Eli Lilly, and they told us that these people are putting lives at risk because these products just haven't been through the strict, rigorous regulation and quality control that genuine products have been through to prove that they're safe. I spoke to the former head of drugs threat at the National Crime Agency, Tony Saggers, and he sums up very clearly how dangerous he thinks this is.
I personally think, and it's a professional view, that this is more dangerous than the supply of illicit drugs like cocaine and heroin, because the majority of people using those drugs know what they're buying. With these drugs, they are marketed as legitimate, and the harm for me is that people are putting substances in their bodies that are at a high risk of either hospitalising them or potentially even killing them.
Do you think that the UK authorities should be doing more?
With an example like this, absolutely, definitely, because we're talking about high volume, persistence, an unrelenting approach to marketing and driving their products towards the UK.
You mentioned that these drugs are big on social media in the way they're sold, but they're not just sold on social media, are they? I know you were speaking to a woman a sort of family who got someone, they died having used one of these skinny jabs. Where was she sold them?
Yeah, we broadcast a really, really heartbreaking interview with that family, but I think it also carries a really important public health message. I'd been speaking to the family of Karen McGonigal for a number of weeks. They were in a state of shock and grief, really, at their mum's sudden death. She was 53, she was a mum and grandmother, and she was from Salford in Greater Manchester, and she died in May, just days after she had been injected with a £20 fake so-called skinny jab at a beauty salon. And I mean, as you can understand, her daughters were really hesitant about doing a TV interview, but they eventually agreed to speak to me because they just wanted to get this message out there about the potential risks of using black market products. And in doing this interview, they actually became the first family in the UK to speak publicly about a death linked to fake skinny jabs. And I should point out that there's no suggestion that the jabs Karen received came from Dale Dennis's supply chain.
Here's Karen's daughter, Fionn, telling you what happened in that salon and after.
She'd stop doing the woman's nails. She'd take my mum into a back room. There was a beauty bed. My mum would just like edge her bum up on the side of the bed. No like preparation was done, no cleaning, nothing. She'd give it my mum. My mum would pay her and you'd be out. You're not even in there 3 minutes and you'd be out. Her face was like purple here, then it'd go back to normal, then it'd go purple again, then it'd go back to normal. And I was like, Mum, there's something wrong, I need to ring an ambulance. She got blue lighted to hospital. By the time I seen her again, she wasn't awake.
Given how new and clearly how widespread these weight loss jabs are, what are the regulations surrounding the way they're administered?
Dan, I think
how much there is, yeah.
I think that's a really, really important question, because what has been clear to me when I spoke to the family of Karen and many other interviews I've done is that people just think that these are just a quicker, easier, more accessible way of getting hold of weight loss drugs. I mean, in Karen's example, she'd been to the GP to try and get them. She couldn't get them on the NHS, so she thought, this is another way of doing it. That couldn't be further from the truth. If they haven't been prescribed by a healthcare professional, they are neither legal or safe. We're talking about prescription-only medications. So whatever you want to call it, fake, dodgy, unregulated, unlicensed, it's all the same thing. If they haven't been prescribed by a medical professional like a doctor or a pharmacist, you really shouldn't use them. Like we talked about earlier with the Eli Lilly interview, they haven't been through that proper regulation and testing to make sure that they're safe for you to use.
And if they're cheap and easy to get, then yeah, there's
Exactly.
probably a reason why.
Yeah.
You've been speaking to the Health Secretary, also the chair of the Health and Care Select Committee as well. What have they had to say about all this?
Yeah, that interview that we did sort of reached, Westminster.
Yeah,
people did react, and the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, told me that we should sort of learn from this shocking example. And he did insist to me that the authorities are taking action. And then Layla Moran, chair of the Health Select Committee, did actually write to the regulator, the MHRA, demanding actions. She said that this should be a wake-up call and we should take serious action. She also really worryingly told me that she fears that Karen's death could be just the tip of the iceberg in this.
Okay. Rebecca Barry, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And you can watch Rebecca's full investigation at itv.com/news and on YouTube. We'll put a link in the show notes for you to look at that. But until now, thank you very much for watching this briefing.